What's up, everybody? I'm Brendan.
I'm Cody.
This is Real Pulse Reviews, and today we're taking a look at Hardball, directed by Brian Robbins and starring Keanu Reeves, Diane Lane, and Michael B. Jordan. Well, not really starring Michael B. Jordan, but he's in there, so. So, Hardball follows Keanu Reeves' character, and he has a gambling addiction. He owes multiple different people money, and in order to make some extra side cash, he takes a job coaching a baseball team, and the kids are all poor and majority black, and it's basically in the projects. So there's a lot of story points of how kids in the projects kind of come up, and I'm not gonna act like I'm familiar with it, so I can't say if it's really a good depiction of it, but I think the story is phenomenal. So the movie depicts a lot of issues that come along with growing up in the projects, pretty much, and it's not by any means it is a happy film, but it's definitely it's not a primarily happy film. Like, they give you some very deep and sad things that happen within the movie, in particular where they just won the game against their big rivals. They're going on to the championship, and in the very next scene, G Baby, one of my favorite characters, beloved character, he gets killed in a shootout in the very next scene. So they don't give you any time to be happy about them winning. It's just they won, and now you're directly into a very tragic and very sad scene. But I really, really enjoy it. It's a very good movie. And I think it really shines that Keanu Reeves is a decent actor. He gets a lot of crap for maybe not being the best actor in Hollywood. He's not. He's just, at the end of the day, he's not. But I think this film really did a good job of showing that he can act when he needs to, and he can take on serious roles. I think he definitely fits best in a role like John Wick, but this role in particular really shows that he has what it takes to be a good actor. And I genuinely like this movie. I think the chemistry, like, they don't like the teacher because she's mean, but really she's like that because she wants to push them and help them to go in a different direction than what Michael B. Jordan's character, for example, ended up doing and becoming a part of the gang after he couldn't play baseball anymore. And that's actually something I didn't really like too much. It just felt like after he couldn't play ball anymore, Keanu Reeves' character just kind of forgot about him. Like, it didn't seem like they gave him any chance to reach out, and like he could have invited him to that baseball game or brought him out to pizza with them. It just felt like once he wasn't allowed to play baseball anymore, he just kind of forgot about his character. So that was kind of a plot point I didn't really like as much. So, I mean, overall the movie was phenomenal. I liked it a lot, but I think that might be really the only plot point I didn't really care for. And I really liked Keanu's friend, actually. I really enjoyed his character, so.
This is now our second movie that we picked from 2001. Our second. The score was 2001.
I didn't even think of that.
Early 2000s. I love early 2000s because we grew up in that time. So it's really nostalgic just seeing different film angles and styles and the music, and makes me feel like a kid again. I really appreciated that about this movie. Keanu Reeves, he's one of my favorite actors. I really like Keanu Reeves. John Wick, just great movies. To Brendan's point, is he the best actor? No, not at all. He has flaws, like any actor, but his are more noticeable. But he's very likable. He's a very likable actor.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to be the best. He reminds me of Kevin Costner. Not the best actor, but he's a likable actor. The story does a really good job at trying to get you to truly understand how, some projects could be in tougher areas. I really appreciated what they were doing, and to go back to Brendan's point, G Baby, I literally was tearing up during that scene. Just death in general, but they really made you feel this one. They just won. He wasn't supposed to play. He came in and played, got the hit, the single to send the runner home from third. You're so excited and happy for him, and you know what all they're going through. So to have Coach Connor come in and do that really symbolizes and shows how much of an impact that he is making on their lives. And I think at that moment when they won, he truly understood, Coach Connor, how much bigger this is than his gambling addiction, and it kind of made him fully realize, there's more to life than just the thrill of winning a bet. The very beginning, to go back, I like how they were setting it up and they were giving you the plot right there, how he has a gambling addiction. It reminds me of the movie with James Caan, The Gambler, back in the 70s. And James Caan's character had a really, really bad gambling addiction, and he would be betting on the sports books, and it just kept going. This wasn't as severe, but he still clearly had a pretty big. One other thing that I wanted to notice about this movie, I think they were doing it on purpose, but there's a lot of racial slurs in it that I realize. So I forget the guy's name. Who's the guy, Jimmy, that gave him, like, I'll give you the $5,000, $500 a week to coach? When he showed up, and I think he was driving like a BMW, a really nice car, and he told him, he gave him this box of candies, and it was sugar babies. I don't know if you get that, but, and then the guy at the bar made a racial slur. I feel like they're trying to really hone in that there is a problem. 2001, there's still a problem with it, but I think they're trying to highlight that too, where it's not just where they're living, there's a bigger problem. Well, not bigger, but there's just another equal problem too. So I just appreciated the movie and helping me better understand certain things. And I know it's Hollywood. Certain things are kind of done up a little bit more to really highlight the actual real world problems, but it's also a good feel-good story too. It's sad, but then it has, a good feel-good. You're happy for Connor, you're happy for the team, you're happy for the kids. So
My score for this movie, and I think it's a fair score. It's a good movie, not a great movie. I think this movie is good with a 6.2. It does a really good job, and I didn't think about this until Cody really was talking about what he liked about it or his opinion on it. It really did a good job of showing how somebody in a position of power, like, what did you say that guy's name was? Jimmy, the trader or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy only took the job of coaching the kids to really make himself look good. He didn't care about them. He just did it to make him and his company look good, and then he just found someone else to go do the actual work. So I think that's actually something that happens frequently. Like that's a very good plot point, and I thought overall the movie's good, but I think 6.2 is a really good fair score for this movie.
Overall, I enjoyed this movie. It really kept my interest. With that being said, I give this a 6.3.
I think that's 6.2, 6.3 is like right in the perfect range for this movie.
I like it. Keanu Reeves, great acting, in my opinion, likable acting. He just makes you really appreciate. Keanu Reeves is just a likable person in general, which is why he has likable characters going back looking at his film. He's just a good dude from what we see. Typically when actresses have a long career like that, certain things come out where they did some shady stuff, and we're not perfect people, right? When I see that stuff, depending on what it is, a lot of times I go, hey, they're not perfect. They're not perfect, unless if you're Diddy. With that being said, with that being said, Keanu Reeves, the movie, we talked about it enough, how it made us feel. I thought it was a pretty solid movie. It's more of a emotional movie. The acting, it's reminded me of like just nostalgia. It kind of reminded me of, trying to think, Bad News Bears. It reminded me of Bad News Bears. Like, you have this team who really, they're not experienced, and this coach just gets slapped in there, and then he turns it around, and it's a feel-good movie. And then there's parts where it's sad, but it's really nice to see the evolution of Coach Connor, Keanu Reeves' character. You really like that in the evolution of the kids. That's a feel-good movie, and it made me feel really good. And G Baby dying made me very sad. I did tear up. Likable.
That hit.
You know, you create a connection and a bond, and you can even relate to him a little bit about playing sports. Like me, for example, wasn't the best outfielder, right? Didn't get a lot of playing time. And now I know G Baby was a little different. He wasn't old enough to play. But then he finally got that chance to play and prove everyone wrong. You know, he's a small kid. He's not old enough to play with the bigger kids, and then to step up and do it.
To add to that scene, I really liked that scene because when they first put G Baby in, I was like, are they just going to put him in and play it off? But then they added the scene where the other coach was coming up to complain, and he saw it was G Baby. He was like, "Oh, never mind, he's right here."
Yep.
And then G Baby got the winning hit, and I thought that was phenomenal. And I really liked that.
Why do you think the coach did that?
Because G Baby doesn't look like somebody who's going to get the hit.
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
He thought for sure he wasn't getting that hit.
Exactly, because at first I was trying to look at, does he, maybe the other coach, know something that we don't know, like G Baby's going through a tough time, which all those kids are. And then, yes, we have the same understanding. Then I'm like, no, he saw him, and he's like, oh yeah, this kid's not gonna get on base.
I think that coach was genuinely the biggest scumbag in the whole movie. Like, that guy sucked. I hated him. Genuinely, he sucked.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's our scores.
Alrighty, YouTube, thank you guys so much for watching. We really, really appreciate it, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Thank you, guys.